Imagine a world where your community's decisions are made by code, not by elected officials. Picture a neighborhood where every resident's voice is recorded, not in the whispers of council meetings, but in the lines of digital code known as smart contracts. These self-executing contracts operate on a blockchain, enabling automated decision-making that is transparent and immutable. But what does this really mean for governance? Smart contracts are like the rules of a game. They establish clear parameters and conditions that automatically trigger actions without the need for intermediaries. Imagine a community deciding to allocate funds for a local park. Instead of debating in crowded town halls, residents could vote through a secure digital platform. Once the votes are in, the smart contract executes the funding. No delays, no disputes. This automation enhances transparency, significantly reduces the potential for corruption, and ensures that the community's will is enacted swiftly. However, what happens when the code, which governs our choices, encounters a flaw? Suppose a smart contract miscalculates the votes or is manipulated by a savvy hacker. The strange consequence is that the very technology designed to empower could disenfranchise those it was meant to serve. It raises questions about accountability. Who is responsible when code fails? In a world governed by smart contracts, the lines blur between human oversight and automated processes. Could we become overly reliant on code, neglecting the need for human intuition and judgment? While the potential for enhanced governance through smart contracts is exciting, it also comes with trade-offs. We must consider the balance between efficiency and the human touch. What safeguards do we put in place to ensure that the system remains equitable? As we explore these questions, we find ourselves at a crossroads of innovation and responsibility, wondering how much trust we can place in a system built on code and what it means for the fabric of our communities. Imagine a world where every citizen has the power to vote on every issue, from local park renovations to national policies, all at their fingertips. What would happen if the traditional barriers of representative democracy were dismantled? Instead of waiting for elected officials to voice their concerns, each member of the community could engage directly with the issues that matter most to them. This is the potential of direct democracy, a model that enables citizens to cast their votes on every decision, facilitated by the efficiency and transparency of smart contracts. Now consider liquid democracy, a hybrid that blends direct and representative democracy. In this model, citizens have the option to vote directly on issues or delegate their voting power to a trusted representative. This flexibility could lead to a more engaged populace, where individuals choose to empower those who they believe have the expertise to make informed decisions on their behalf. Imagine a scenario where you trust your neighbor, a local environmental scientist, to vote on climate policies while you focus on other community matters. In this setup, your voice is still heard, but you can also leverage the knowledge of others. The beauty of these models lies in their potential to enhance civic participation. Picture a digital platform where community members can propose initiatives, discuss their merits, and ultimately vote on them in real time. This kind of engagement could transform the very fabric of society, creating a culture where every opinion matters and every voice can influence the outcome. Yet amidst this vision of empowerment, we must also confront the challenges that arise. What happens when the majority holds sway over minority rights? The same technology that enables direct participation could also lead to mob mentality, where nuanced discussions are overshadowed by the loudest voices. And while liquid democracy offers a solution, it raises questions about trust and delegation. How do you choose whom to empower? Moreover, the implementation of these democratic models depends heavily on access to technology. In a world where digital literacy is not universal, who gets left behind? Could the very systems designed to empower citizens inadvertently disenfranchise those who lack access or understanding? It is crucial to consider how we can ensure inclusivity and equitable participation in these new governance structures. As we explore these possibilities, we must ask ourselves, if every citizen could vote on every issue, how would that reshape our societal dynamics? Would we see a more informed and engaged citizenry, or would the complexities of governance overwhelm individual voters? The strange consequence of such a system is that while it promises empowerment, it also demands a higher level of responsibility from each citizen. Are we ready to embrace that challenge? Imagine a vibrant community gathering to decide whether to fund a local festival. Instead of the usual town hall debates, the residents pull out their smartphones and engage in a seamless digital process powered by a smart contract. Each member casts their vote, and as the votes are tallied, the smart contract automatically allocates the necessary funds, all while ensuring transparency and accountability. What if every member of the community could see how much money was being raised, who contributed, and how the funds would be spent? This is the potential of decentralized governance through smart contracts. The beauty of this approach lies in its capacity to automate fund allocation based on collective decisions. No longer do we rely solely on a small group of elected officials or committees to make financial choices on behalf of the community. Instead, the community itself takes control, fostering a sense of ownership and engagement. However, this system isn't without its challenges. Imagine a scenario where a vocal minority pushes for an extravagant festival that the majority doesn't truly support. Although the transparency of the smart contract allows everyone to see the funds being allocated, it also opens up debates about what constitutes community interest. Who benefits from these decisions? The vibrant festival may seem attractive, but what about the other pressing needs in the community? Perhaps the local park needs renovations, or the community center requires funding for educational programs. These questions linger in the air, highlighting the delicate balance between collective enthusiasm and the diverse needs of the community. The strange consequence of relying on a smart contract for funding decisions is that while it enhances trust through transparency, it may also create divisions if not everyone feels their voices are equally heard. If one group dominates the conversation, the very mechanism designed to empower could inadvertently disenfranchise others. So as we explore this innovative funding model, we must ask ourselves, what happens when a community collectively decides to fund a local festival through code? Will it truly unite them, or will it expose underlying fractures within the community? The answer lies not only in the technology itself, but also in how we engage with it, ensuring that everyone has a seat at the table, even if that table is virtual. Imagine a neighborhood rallying together to breathe new life into a beloved but neglected local park. Picture the once barren playground transformed into a vibrant space filled with blooming flowers, picnic tables, and a community garden, all thanks to a unique initiative powered by smart contracts. What if, instead of relying on a few key decision-makers, every resident had a direct say in how funds were allocated for this revitalization project? This is not just a dream. It's a reality that emerged in a small town that embraced decentralized governance. The residents gathered to discuss their vision for the park, and using a smart contract, they collectively decided how much money to contribute and what specific improvements they wanted to see. Each contribution was recorded transparently on the blockchain, ensuring that every dollar was accounted for. The beauty of this process lay in its simplicity and clarity. Community members felt empowered, knowing their voices mattered. They were no longer passive observers, but active participants in shaping their surroundings. As the project progressed, the residents took pride in their work, coming together to plant trees, paint benches, and even host weekend events to celebrate their achievements. The park became a symbol of their collective effort, fostering a sense of belonging and cohesion that had been absent before. The strange consequence of this initiative was not just the physical transformation of the park, but a profound shift in community dynamics. Neighbors who had once barely spoken began to forge connections as they worked side by side. The act of decentralizing decision-making transformed their relationship with one another. They learned to listen, negotiate, and collaborate, realizing that their diverse perspectives enriched the project rather than hindered it. However, this success story also invites us to ponder deeper questions. What happens if disagreements arise over how the park should be maintained? Could a smart contract account for those nuances, or would it require human intervention to navigate conflicts? As they celebrated their achievements, the community also recognized the need for ongoing dialogue. They understood that while the smart contract facilitated funding and decision-making, it was their collective responsibility to nurture the relationships that had blossomed alongside their revitalized park. This experience illustrated a pivotal aspect of decentralized governance, the balance between automated processes and human connections. The empowerment felt by community members was palpable, but it was equally clear that technology alone could not sustain their newfound unity. They began to explore ways to ensure that everyone felt included in future decisions, perhaps by organizing regular town hall meetings or creating feedback loops within the smart contract system. This case study serves as a powerful reminder that success in decentralized governance is not merely about the technology, but about how we engage with one another as we navigate this new terrain. What if more communities could replicate this model, using smart contracts not just for funding, but as a framework for fostering collaboration? The implications are vast, hinting at a future where local governance becomes a dynamic tapestry woven from the contributions of many voices, each thread representing a unique perspective contributing to the whole. Imagine a bustling online marketplace where transactions are not just exchanges of goods, but also of trust, encapsulated within lines of code. Each time a community member decides to purchase a handmade item, a smart contract autonomously executes the transaction, transferring funds and confirming delivery without the need for a middleman. Now suppose one day a malicious actor discovers a vulnerability in this smart contract. They exploit it, siphoning off funds meant for local artisans, leaving the community in a state of shock and betrayal. What happens next? The strange consequence of this incident is a ripple effect of distrust that spreads through the community like wildfire. Suddenly, the very technology designed to enhance transparency and fairness becomes a source of anxiety and skepticism. In this scenario, the community faces a critical test of resilience and accountability. As the news spreads, discussions begin to emerge in online forums and local chat groups. Community members grapple with questions. How could this happen? Who is responsible? What measures can be put in place to prevent this from recurring? It's one thing to embrace the promise of decentralized governance through smart contracts, but when the system falters, who steps in to restore faith? The first instinct might be to blame the technology itself. However, the underlying issue often lies not only in the code, but also in the governance structures, or lack thereof, that surround it. Without a mechanism for oversight, the community is left vulnerable. Imagine if there had been a system in place for regular audits of the smart contracts code, involving community volunteers or even professional auditors. Perhaps then, this exploit could have been caught before it caused significant damage. The community realizes that while smart contracts can automate processes, they cannot replace the need for active human involvement and oversight. As conversations continue, community members start to brainstorm solutions. They propose the creation of a decentralized committee tasked with overseeing the maintenance and updating of smart contracts, ensuring they remain secure and effective. This committee would not only audit existing contracts, but also educate community members about how to identify potential risks and safeguard their interests. Here we see a crucial turning point. The community learns that the technology is not enough on its own. It must be accompanied by a culture of vigilance and accountability. What if this community, in response to the exploit, also decided to build a platform for sharing experiences with smart contracts? They could create a repository of lessons learned, documenting not only failures, but also successful initiatives. By fostering an environment of transparency, the community could collectively strengthen its understanding of the technology, thereby reducing the likelihood of future exploits. The strange consequence of this newfound collaboration is that it transforms the community's relationship with technology from one of passive reliance to active engagement. But what if the exploit had been much larger, affecting not just a handful of local artisans but the entire marketplace? The community could face an existential crisis, questioning the very foundation of their governance model. Here lies a vital question. How do we balance the benefits of automation with the inherent risks? As they navigate this precarious landscape, the community must realize that while smart contracts may streamline processes, they are not infallible, and the human element, trust, accountability, and engagement, remains indispensable. This cautionary tale serves as a reminder that in the pursuit of innovation, we must remain vigilant stewards of the systems we create, ensuring that they serve and empower everyone, not just a select few. Imagine a world where community decisions are not just made in town halls or through ballot boxes, but are encoded in lines of digital text that govern our lives. This is the promise of smart contracts, a technology that automates governance, ensuring that decisions are executed without bias or delay. Yet as we delve deeper into this new paradigm, we must ask ourselves, can we truly trust code to govern us? What happens when unforeseen issues arise and the rigid structures of automation clash with the fluidity of human experience? Let's consider a scenario. A community has decided to fund a new public park through a smart contract. Initially, everything seems perfect. The funds are allocated, the timelines are set, and every resident can track the process in real time. However, as the project unfolds, unexpected challenges emerge. Perhaps a sudden storm damages the park's infrastructure, or a community member raises concerns about the design that wasn't initially considered. In these moments, the cold logic of code might struggle to adapt. This is where human oversight becomes crucial. Community leaders, individuals with empathy, understanding, and the ability to negotiate, step in to assess the situation, balancing the parameters set by the smart contract with the evolving needs of their neighbors. In a decentralized system, these leaders play a pivotal role. They are not the gatekeepers of power, but rather facilitators of dialogue, ensuring that the code serves the community rather than the other way around. This dynamic raises an important question. How do we cultivate leaders who can navigate the complexities of automated governance? As communities evolve, so too must their governance models, adapting to changing demographics and emerging challenges. What if we imagine a community where every voice is heard, where leaders are chosen based on their ability to mediate between the rigid lines of code and the messy realities of human interaction? The strange consequence is that while smart contracts promise efficiency and transparency, they also risk alienating those who feel their concerns cannot be captured by binary decisions. The challenge lies in creating an environment where code and humanity coexist, ensuring that every member feels empowered and included in the decision-making process. Ultimately, the balance between automation and human intervention is not a binary choice. It is a nuanced dance, one where the community must decide how best to wield the tools at their disposal. As we peer into this brave new world, we must remain vigilant, ensuring that the governance structures we build are not only efficient but also compassionate, adaptable, and above all, accountable to the people they serve.